Hey, you good?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, my goodness,
All
that's
right. This is the first podcast.
this is like a very good
Good to start off with, and
wall wallpaper paper.
yeah, right?
So what time are we going to start recording?
We're started. We just doing it now.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
Hey, man, this
So
is this is our debut. So of course we're going to have some
it's
butterflies in the stomach, you know.
yeah, I know. It's always the beginning. It's a little nerve-wracking. Just like, when you go on to the pitch for the first day to bat, you don't know what's gonna happen. So let's go, start batting.
Yeah, absolutely. And what gave it would be a great way of starting by talking about the one and only Sunny Gavaskar.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I wanted to start briefly. Like first, let's just introduce ourselves. So I'm Dhananjay, and you are
Absolutely, yeah, I'm Janak.
you're Janak.
So,
We're the
so
cricket. We're the cricket brothers.
oh, absolutely.
Passion for
Absolutely.
cricket.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's the reason we're going to call it
And
this show. The
who gave us the concept of
well,
doing
the
this?
concept was given by my wife. She thought that, hey, why are you guys wasting your time? Just talking to each other about cricket after every game. So instead of that, why don't you start talking about this on a blog? So I said, hey, why not?
I know. Yeah, we just took it and we're doing it. Like what in a couple hours?
Yep.
That's
So
cool.
yep. Having said
So
that, I bet you that's how Sunny Gavaskar felt when he first went into the West Indies in the 1971, 50 years ago.
yeah, today's the day, right? The Golden Jubilee.
Absolutely. The golden jubilee of Sunny Gavaskar's first test match against West Indies.
Yeah.
Uh, let's begin.
So I wanted to ask you, like, because I was maybe like 3, 4 years old when I first saw him in 1987 World Cup, which was like his last year. And I'm sure you've seen him more than I have. So what were your memories of him?
Oh, absolutely. Sunil Gavaskar, of course, is a legend. Everybody wanted to be a Sunil Gavaskar. I remember my parents' friends, every time I would have a cricket bat, he goes, oh, there goes Gavaskar, and so on. So every child in India wanted to be like Sunil Gavaskar and Kapil Dev. So one of my memories about Sunil Gavaskar was in believe it was 1987 or 86, playing against Pakistan on
Oh, oh,
turn.
The Bangalore pitch.
Oh, the
Was it the
Bangalore.
Bangalore or was it Chennai? Because
From
Madras.
what
It
I
was called
recall,
Madras back then.
I think it was Bangalore,
Madras.
if I can recall. And in the ball was turning squares. I think it was Iqbal Qasim and Tasif Ahmed. He was the off spinner,
Yeah.
and the way Sunil Gavaskar was handling it, it actually, like this recent series with India and England, people were complaining about the pitches and so on.
Right.
And so that game, I think he didn't score a century. He probably scored about 96, but that was a real gem. Kind of showed everyone how to play spinners
Right.
and so on. So I watched that game. I also remember watching that tied game that India had with Australia, where they scored three.
I watched that like highlights of it and over the years, and I was like, wow, this like they got so close to it, and in the end, it was just that one run. They just couldn't do it. So
Absolutely.
yeah. So
Absolutely.
how was it like when you were growing up? Like Gavaskar was like this big name, right? He was just this amazing like batsman that put India on the map. So like and he also tackled like he also played well against the fast bowlers, right?
Oh,
The
absolutely.
mighty West Indies.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that was the in my mind, even now when I consider this, I think that was the greatest bowling attack ever in the history of cricket, especially for fast bowlers. You had
Right.
Andy Roberts, you had Michael Holding, you had Malcolm Marshall, And then when they were not playing, of course, you had Wayne Daniel, and a lot of people don't know too much about Colin Croft, but back in the day,
Yeah.
that guy was a demon. And in the cricketing sense, of course, those
Right.
guys were awesome. They were phenomenal. And Sunil Gavaskar, he didn't even wear a helmet back in the day.
Right. As
So
you can see in the picture from the background, like he didn't have a helmet. He just had a floppy hat.
absolutely. So that was like that was a feel great moment for all Indians, because of course, if you would salvage a draw, we would be like so happy. And
Right.
now, the days have changed. But if it wasn't for pioneers like the Sunil Gavaskars, the Kapil Devs of India, I don't think we would have been in this situation. They were the ones that inspired the Tendulkars and the Dravids and the fast bowlers that are coming along now.
Right.
So without them, we don't have this current Indian team. Without them, we don't make it to the World Test finals.
Finals, right? And actually, like speaking of Gavaskar, like when he now that he's transitioned into like commentary over the years after playing so many great innings, and he said that about the pitch, like there's complaining so much about it, and he also said that that like they should stop doing that. Like he even mentioned some word, like he said "chal put,"
Oh, really?
Yeah, he did. There's a video out there on YouTube. I think it's Star Sports or something. He did some. They were asking him some questions about after the match, or yesterday was like, so they said, you know what, they should just stop talking about pitch. Why don't they concentrate on batting? So what are your thoughts on that? Like, is he
Oh,
right?
absolutely. I mean, Sunil Gavaskar, I recall I watched one of his interviews like a long time ago, and he remembers that, I don't know if he scored a century in that game, but, he scored at least a half century in Old Trafford on a very fast track.
Right.
And he considers that his best innings. So which brings to mind that nobody complains when the pitches are fast, or when the ball is swinging in the English conditions. Oh, wow, that's cricket. Of course, that's they're the founding fathers of cricket. So of course, there's nothing wrong with that. But now comes a spinning track, and people start complaining about it. So at the end of the day, the great batsmen figure out a way to play in all kinds of conditions, and that's the reason it's called a test match.
Right.
Test your true mettle.
Yeah.
So that's what Gavaskar brought. And a couple of other things is what comes to mind when I think about Sunny Gavaskar is it's gutsy. Somebody that always challenged. He challenged the board. He the infamous test in Australia where he kind of that was a walkout. I don't think that was the best moment of his cricketing career.
Oh, the one where Dennis Lillee, bowled him, and he said that he edged the bat, and they gave him out LBW.
Absolutely. So I mean, again, that wasn't cricket, but that was a way Sunil Gavaskar always played. I mean, he fought, and think about it. Later on, in the 80s, he played against West Indies, where he was very successful. He scored a very fast 90 in Motera Stadium, Ahmedabad. I believe that was the first test match played over there. He scored 236 in that series. And if I can recall correctly, even at the Firoz Shah Kotla, he had a century where I believe he either tied Don Bradman's record or maybe he passed Don Bradman. But that was in that series where he decided that, hey, you know what, enough is enough. I have defended for so many years, and he just went out there. He was hooking and cutting and pulling all of the West Indians. And mind you, I mean, Malcolm Marcel was at the peak of his career. He was the world's greatest bowler at that time.
It was after the World Cup, right? The '83 World Cup.
Absolutely. So imagine, if Gavaskar was playing in the current team with so many good players, I bet you he would have been able to use, his average would have been a whole lot better than 51 runs.
You think so?
I bet you. Yeah, absolutely. He would have been in the 70s because, back in the day, the entire Indian team depended upon Gavaskar. If Gavaskar went, everybody said, hey, you know what, let's turn off the radio. And I remember that, I remember actually that, we are brothers. So my fondest memory is me and my brother, listening to the commentary of the World Cup final in 1983, or even before in 1981. Maybe I was 7 or 8 years old, and I would ask my mom. I said, "Hey," I remember asking my mom that, for some reason that just sticks in my memory. I said, "What's a half century?"
Okay.
And I think she said 50 runs or so on. But I remember listening on the commentary. Who was the commentator back in the day? I think it may
You
have been.
mentioned Dr. Narottam Puri, right?
Yeah, that was maybe a little bit later, but Sushil Doshi.
Okay.
And then there was also a program on radio about with Vijay Marchand. He used to have like a special program and so on. But coming back over here, Sunil Gavaskar had a very big influence on a lot of the cricketing fans. I know on me, I remember
Even the current batch of players, right?
Absolutely. I
Like
mean,
from Tendulkar to Dravid to like Ganguly, Dhoni, I'm sure.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And this guy they put India on the cricketing map. Before that, they would say, oh, they would kind of spin the ball, and they would do this. Maybe they might win a couple of games here and there. But now with the advent of Sunil Gavaskar, that 1971 series 50 years ago, I mean, I cannot believe that it's been 50 years.
Yeah.
Sunil Gavaskar just changed changed everything for Indian cricket. And even throughout the years as a commentator,
Right.
I mean, this guy is just phenomenal.
I know, right? Especially now, like with the current series. He said that the lot of players who played this particular series, like the current one against England, like England players didn't do so well because they didn't concentrate on their game. They kept complaining about the pitch. What do you make of that? Like, you think, was it like a mindset game they were playing, or?
Well, that's the kind of unfortunately, that's the era we live in. I mean, everything is everyone's fault. I should not say that, but sometimes maybe I'm guilty of that too. But in this days, people make excuses, and the same is happening right now. I mean, if you and even Gavaskar kind of said that a lot of batsmen were getting out to straight balls. So a lot of times, it's all about their mindset. They see the ball spinning, and then all of a sudden they say, oh, you know what, this is an unplayable wicket. It's just the fault of the wicket. Rohit Sharma showed that, he scored 161 runs in that previous game. Or was it in Chennai that he scored that?
Well, I think he scored in the second game. He scored 161.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that was the way, cricket used to get played. And, I was watching one of Gavaskar's series, Vivian Richards in one of his first series over here in India. He scored 192 runs against Chandrasekhar Bishan Singh Bedi on turning wickets. So, and I believe even Richards kind of said something about the Indian, some of the English players complaining about the pitch. Saying,
right. Hey, he did send a video message. Yeah.
So that's what it's about. Back in the day, I mean, it was all about, hey, you know what, how you walk out to the spinners, how you use your feet against the spinners.
Correct.
And these days, somebody kind of mentioned something about the English players kind of being taught to sweep. Sweep is definitely a good weapon, but that's not the only weapon. And, sometimes if the mindset of the players is, oh, you know what, we won't be able to stick around for a long time on this kind of pitches, then guess what ends up happening?
Right. So who do you think who was the like coming from, like, let's talk about like the England's player. Who do you think did well and who do you think poorly performed?
I mean, again, they have some very good players. I mean, I thought they would have put up a bigger fight than what we were anticipating over here. But, like Joe Root mentioned, at crucial junctures when, the game was in balance, the
Right.
Indian team was able to kind of come up with some bigger breaks. But, as far as the English players, I mean, I was very impressed with the bowling of Leach. I think he did a great
Jack Leach
job
did really
as
good.
far as
Yeah.
he's a good
Yeah.
left-arm spinner. Root had a good outing, where he had took those 5 odd wickets
I
in
know.
the previous test match. Root played well. I mean, I thought Lawrence has some good technique against this.
He does. Yeah, he played really good the second innings.
Absolutely. I mean, he scored
Yeah.
50 odd runs. So they have a very good team. And under different conditions, perhaps on a different mindset, perhaps they could do even better.
Right.
And the final result, 3-1. Initially, before the series started, I thought that would be a closer series. And winning in India is very difficult.
It's always
especially
difficult. Yeah.
It's especially with the current team. And I understand last time they won against in 2012 they won, but again, the spinners that we have now, Ashwin, he is like definitely the world's best off spinner right now.
Yeah. I mean, he was the player of the series too. So
absolutely,
that speaks a whole lot.
That speaks volumes. Absolutely, you're right, and the confidence.
Right.
So, I mean, a lot of times we will say, "Oh, you know what, Sunil Gavaskar, he played 125 tests. Any schoolboy in India can kind of basically recite the stats." I know I could back in the day, 10,122 runs, at a 51 and odd 51 runs and odd average per test match. His 34 centuries. But what people fail to give him credit for is the confidence that he gave the entire Indian diaspora, the entire Indian cricket team. The players that were coming up. Even the common Indian saying, "Hey, you know what? Well, guess what? Until Gavaskar is there, anything is possible." Which was clearly exhibited in 1979. It was one of the great test matches at Oval, and mind you, this was Ian Botham at his best. He was the world's best all-rounder. The English team was doing very good. India was at a total of 438. So when we're talking about the Kohlis and the Rahanes kind of chasing those totals,
right?
Well, these are the folks that have made history. They chased 406 at Port of Spain with Gavaskar and Mahendra Amarnath kind of laying the foundation. Tight test match, 347 in one day. Gavaskar had played a very big role in it. And then the Oval Test, who can forget that? 221 runs. With the current team, the current tailenders that we have, we would have definitely.
So who do you think for our team? Like who do you think performed good? Like who had the hits and who had the miss? Who are the miss? Like which players?
Definitely Rohit Sharma. He's shown, of course, Pant. He's showing that, hey, this guy is a game changer.
He's phenomenal.
Just a matter of a couple of hours.
He's just phenomenal. I mean, to turn around from like not being in the team and then go to Australia and perform so well, and then coming back to India and just like scoring nonchalantly, like the 100 he scored in this test match was just absolutely amazing. I think he's peak of the. I think he's gonna do like great wonders. I'm a big fan of him now. Yeah,
absolutely. Same here. I was a big fan of Gilchrist. For Australia, he was a game changer. As soon as he revolutionized the one-day game, he was a very big contributor for Australia. And then the way Pant's going, absolutely, in a matter of a couple of hours, he can change the game. And again, when I'm talking about all of those things, it's the confidence that they're getting through the IPL.
Right.
It's the confidence that they get Gavaskar was also one of the contributors for all of those things where, it's people like Gavaskar's, the Mahendra Amarnaths. They bring hope to people saying, hey, you know what, if a 5'5" can face the fast bowling attack, the fury of the Marshalls and the Holdings, without a helmet, anything is possible. And this is the young India.
Right.
People think that, hey, you know what, anything is possible. And
what do you make of our like current openers? Like who do you think do you think KL Rahul has any chances of being in the team?
To be honest with you,
for the
test match, in my personal opinion, they ought to give KL Rahul tried. That guy's tremendous talent, very courageous. He can play fast bowling as well as spin bowling. So I'm just perplexed. Well, of course, he did get injured and so on. But that's a talent that we definitely want to give more chances. And nothing against Gill. I think Gill is very he showed in Australia he really has good mettle, and he can kind of do a good job and so on. But I think it's time to give KL Rahul a chance,
Yeah,
especially looking
I
at the
think so
four.
too. Yeah. I mean, and also like the middle order didn't perform well either. I mean, Ajinkya didn't have much of a game in this series. Virat really didn't show much. I mean, not that I mean, what else? Yeah, like besides lower order coming through. Oh, looks like I lost him. Huh?
We're back. Sorry for the interruption.
That's all right. Happens. It's a first inaugural.
Oh, absolutely.
It
That
depends.
also,
Nothing goes without a hitch.
yeah. So that kind of reminds me of
It's a good luck.
back,
It's a good luck. It's
yeah,
good omen.
back in the day when we first got TV in India when we were growing up. On Doordarshan there would always be some disturbance, so they would come up with something saying "Rukawat ke liye khed
Kid
hai," or "Sorry
Interesting.
for the interruption." So
Right.
so how it brings back memories again.
I know, right? You had to go up in the and on the roof and turn the antenna,
Oh, absolutely.
and
Yeah.
then you had to yell down below. It's like, is it on?
Yeah. And then I remember kind of even giving a thwack to the radio, when we would lose that reception and so on, saying, "Hey, what's going on? Give it a little whack."
Right? Give it a whack.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we left off at yeah, like the right now, like who so Ajinkya Rahane, he didn't play so well either. You think they should put somebody else in place of him?
Well, I mean, there are two schools of thoughts. I mean, of course, the one thing is, you got to persist with the folks to kind of give them some confidence and so forth. But with the bench we have right now, I mean, I don't know. Maybe the second school of thought is maybe put them on notice. If you don't perform,
Right.
we are not going to stick around with you for a long time. I mean, of course, you have your pros and cons. One argument would be, hey, look at what happened. We kind of stuck around with Pant, and now he's a match winner.
Okay.
However, at the same time, with this level of talent we have, I mean, we have KL Rahul, we have what's his name, Iyer, and so many good batsmen coming out. So the question is, who do we leave out? Who do we leave out? KL Rahul might be at the peak of his career right now. So are we doing the right thing by persisting with Gill? Well, Gill is an upcoming talent, but there is Jimmy Anderson. Has kind of figured out some weaknesses. He's kind of got him out with the swinging ball. So that's where the selectors have to make a decision.
Right. So now the T20 is going to start. Right. The first, I think it's on March 12th next week. Okay. What do you make of them? What do you make of the first match? Who do you think is who obviously India has the upper hand with the mental, for the game.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, these are different types of games, I mean, obviously India is going to have the upper hand with the psychological advantage, but, mind you, I mean, English, this
I mean, they got a good T20 team that's coming in.
Current English team is very good when it comes to T20. And of course, you're not going to have that same kind of pressure built up. I bet you it's not going to be a spinning track, kind of like the ones we have seen in the test matches. So that's a totally different ball game. But, when it comes to test cricket and T20, I think England will definitely have a better showing than what they were able to do in the test.
Hopefully, yeah, because I mean, I'm looking forward to watching Ben Stokes, Sam Curran, even Ian Morgan and Geoffrey Archer. I think he's going to play at least a role in it too.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. England will probably have an upper hand. Of course, India has that slight psychological advantage.
Well, they got Hardik Pandya. They got the Pandya brothers, and who else? As far as bowling is concerned, do you think they might use Akshar?
Possibly, because Akshar has traditionally done well in the or if Ravindra Jadeja is
I don't
fit.
know if he's fit because he is injured, so they might, they may not.
Injured. So they're probably going to go with. It's my feeling that they'll probably going to go with Akshar.
Akshar or Chahal. I think Chahal. You said something about Chahal, right?
Yeah, Chahal would definitely be in the. He's definitely going to play in the T20s. But if they need a second spinner, I think Akshar will probably come in handy.
Yeah, yeah. And then to round off, like now we're the #1 test team, so we're gonna go to Lords this year to play the final against New Zealand. What do you make of that? Like, does New Zealand have the upper hand because they're so used to like seaming tracks and the conditions they're used to in New Zealand?
Well, you know what? New Zealand is always a big contender, especially with Bolt, kind of bowling in the swinging conditions. But, India with Bumrah and so that's actually going to be an exciting series. I'm looking forward to that. When did you say they're going to be playing in Lords?
Lords, I'm not sure exactly what date, but I know it's this year. I think it's around June, July. If I'm not wrong, yeah. I think it's right after IPL. Like they have like a couple of weeks left because they have to go there, quarantine, get into their bio bubble, and then play
and so forth. I think that would be a great series. India has the upper hand, especially with the spinners. India probably has the upper hand as far as the batting is concerned. Of course, Williamson, barring Williamson, I think India has a better batting, but they got to figure out that stuff as far as the opening pair. I mean, I don't know if Gill is the best option right now. I mean, he's young, of course. He has a lot of talent. He has shown a lot of courage. But I believe KL Rahul will probably make the team stronger. So I'm kind of along those lines. But it's definitely going to be a great series.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the final.
Yeah, what better way than starting off with the best teams, playing in the
test, the final test. Yeah,
absolutely. But as far as I think, it's a good thing that they are having this. They're playing this at a neutral venue because again, playing in New Zealand, you've seen how it can be. Those pitches are really fast, and same thing if we were playing in India, the question of the spinning tracks would come in. So I think playing at Lords, the mecca of cricket.
Oh yeah. One of these. I have this. I don't know. I should call it a dream, but I think I definitely wanna in my lifetime. I want to go see at least a test match and a final in Lords. Yeah, it's one of my wish. I hope I will hopefully one of these days because like you said, Lord, the mecca of cricket.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I had the opportunity of visiting Lords a couple of times. Of course, there were no matches being played, but I would not be opposed to going to Lords for the well. Actually, that would be a dream come true for me as well.
I know, right?
Maybe we better start packing our bags. Let's get our passports all ready.
Passports are ready. Yeah, get our shots first.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then get into that. But
that's cool.
This is remarkable.
Yeah. Hey, it's been a great, I guess, first start with that little, you got cut off because your phone battery ran out. But I think we should do this more often.
Oh,
what
absolutely. Do you think? I had a blast, and of course, we came up with the name for our blog. We're going to call it the Dan and Jan Show. I suppose.
The Dan and Jan Show.
Yeah, Dan is short for Dhananjay, and Jan's short for Janet. And well,
Dan and Jan Show.
This is a family event. for two cousins getting together. We have
Right.
some good memories of ourselves playing
Especially
cricket.
talking about cricket, obviously.
Exactly this.
Yeah.
So maybe
And
next time we can probably invite Ajay,
yeah,
my
that's
older
right.
brother,
That's right.
and some of
Yeah.
our friends and so forth. But wow,
Cool,
wow! I
man.
think we're gonna
I
go
think we
down.
should do it. Yeah, we should. We'll set up a date and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, like Ravi Shastri always likes to say, this is going to go down in the annals of the Atodaria family. That hey, we started out talking about Indian cricket, and what better way than talking about a
Well
legend.
said. Well said. All right. All right. Sounds like a plan.
All right,
All
let's
right,
do it
let's wrap
again.
this up. Hope you have a good weekend, and I'll see you next time.
Oh, very
Yeah, we'll
nicely
do this
done.
more often. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
All right. Take it
All right,
easy.
take care.
Take care.
God bless. God bless America
God bless America. Yep.
and Jai Hind.
Jay. Yep. Jay.